I just hope that Lee Greenwood appreciates what 9/11 did for his career. So I've been doing stand-up comedy now for the last 2 months or so. Right? I've been doing the online comedy for about 3 years now. But stand-up's rather new for me. Back about 12 years ago, I did it one time. Decided it was fun, but like I just never really seized the opportunity to do it again. Life got busy, kind of changed priorities, whatnot. But then I decided to go back and do it again. I found it to be just like loads of fun. It's one of my favorite things I've done hobby-wise so far. Is just get on stage and tell some jokes. And, I've done this about 8 times so far, bombed twice, did pretty good 6 times. But last night was the first time where I just felt like that was a good set. Like that was strong. It's where I need to be. And the weird part is it was kind of a controversial topic. My topic that I was talking about was 9/11 of all things, right? Not something that a lot of people would touch. But I like to try to find the humor in things. But I want to tell you before I went on stage, right? This was an open mic night last night, and before that they had a comedy showcase where they bring out some other comedians and do their thing. And I happened to notice when I was watching the comedy showcase, a guy walks in and sits right in the front row, and his shirt says "Property of Allah," right? So I'm looking over there, I'm like, that guy, I'm pretty sure he's Muslim, right? Either that or he doesn't read his shirt when he put it on in the morning. And so I was already like, do I change what I'm talking about? I'm talking about 9/11, kind of a sensitive topic, especially when you bring it in front of, someone who's Islamic potentially. But I went through my notes and I started reviewing just to see if there was anything out there that like could be considered offensive. And I work pretty clean. I try not to be offensive in any way, shape, or form. But you never know, right? So I was already a little nervous, and then the host gets up there right away and tries to do a little bit of crowd work, and he talks to this guy, and it doesn't go well. Put it that way. This guy's very serious. Doesn't seem like he's in a joking mood, which is kind of odd because he's in a comedy club. But I'm like, do I just pull my name out of the hat? Like, all I've prepared today is this 9/11 joke. And I just don't want to be that guy that's offensive. Now, I know, if I put my stuff out on the internet like I'm doing right now, there's a chance that anybody could read it, right? And I don't want to be offensive. And I especially don't want to be offensive to my Islamic friends out there, because I've spent a good bit of time in the Middle East, Kuwait, Qatar, Iraq, Dubai, all these different places. And honestly, the hospitality that I've been offered every time by the locals has been just incredible. So I have like no disdain for the Islamic culture or anything. So I got my act pretty clean. I make a few references to Pakistan, but that's about as close to offensive I can get. In all honesty, I'm not even focusing on like the terrorist side of 9/11. I take a funny take on it. I'll just explain the whole set here. I think it makes more sense, but it was kind of fun because I'm getting nervous to tell this thing, and then right before I go up, this guy and his group gets up and leaves, which I'm kind of relieved, but I kind of also wanted to see what the reaction would be. I don't think it would be great, but I think that was probably just because this guy just didn't seem like he was in a laughing mood, right? I was watching him through the comedy showcase, and he laughed like 3 times in an hour. At some stuff that was just killing. So nothing against the entire culture, but this one guy just didn't seem like he was having a good time, didn't want to be there. And honestly, maybe it just caught him off guard, being singled out at the beginning with crowd work. It wasn't intentional. I know the guy who was the comedian doing it was not intentional in any way, shape, or form. However, it was it was something that happened, so it is what it is. But my set starts out, I asked the crowd, I'm like, is anybody out here a Lee Greenwood fan, right? Lee Greenwood's the guy who wrote God Bless the USA, right? And half the people, in my opinion, like before I was writing this, I'm like, half the people's going to be like, who's Lee Greenwood? And the other half's going to be like, he's okay. So I expected the crowd to be like, silent, right? And I got that for the most part, with the exception of one guy in the back corner who, when I said, any Lee Greenwood fans, and it's like crickets, right? Except for one guy who went, woo, like as loud as he could possibly go. And so I'm like, man, one person over there. Y'all know who Lee Greenwood is at least, right? And I got like muffled murmurs in there. And I'm like, these guys saying, you know, God bless the USA. And if you know who he is and don't like him, then obviously you're un-American, right? Which got a really big laugh in the crowd. I really like that joke. I kind of set them up, bait. You know, they took the bait, took the hook, line, and sinker, whole thing, and they ran with it. And they got a huge laugh. And then I turned like, you're un-American. Well, any fans of 9/11 in here, right? Which just, crowd just erupted. And anyway, it's a good time. So after I get through that part, I'm like, I just hope that Lee Greenwood appreciates what 9/11 did for his career. It's something that's kind of out of left field, and it gets a pretty big laugh when I say it, but I crack up over it. And then I go in through this whole spiel about, you know, the song, it wasn't popular, and then after 9/11 goes to the top of the Billboard charts, and it stays there. And then I give this like stupid like story of, you know, a potential, you know, meeting they had with Lee Greenwood. Like, look, man, you're a has-been, like you're a one-hit wonder, your hit's not hitting anymore, we got to let you go if you don't have something new. And I come up with this joke like, we need to bring more fire to your set, and we need to like make your act more explosive, and anywhere you play, we just want you to bring the building down, right? And then they go around the room talking about good ideas that they have, and they come back, you know, this Pakistani intern in the corner is like, did you say fire? Did you say explosive? Bring the building down? I've got a guy for you. And then I do like a Back to the Future reference where I'm like, hey, Osama, this is your cousin Marvin bin Laden, you know, and then it just spirals out of control at that point. But, you know, and that at the end, I go back and I talk about the last time that this song hit the Billboard charts, which was not 9/11, actually. It hit the Billboard charts in June of 2020, which is, you know, when COVID's going on. And I build the crowd up and, like, you know, kind of convincing them maybe, you know, Lee Greenwood caused COVID too, and I get them led up to it, but I never say COVID. I'm like, y'all know what happened in 2020? That's right, Tiger King came out, America, right? And I like bait and switch them to that. But it's a fun set to do. It really is, because it gets a bunch of big laughs, and it's a topic that's kind of sensitive. You got to, like, you know, be easy with. But I feel like I've found my way through it where I'm not offensive for the most part. And a few people that I am offensive to are potentially terrorists themselves. I'm not making fun of Lee Greenwood, I guess, could be offended by it. I'm not saying Lee Greenwood was a terrorist or involved in it. It's just a fun, stupid joke. So don't get too serious about that. I don't know. It was fun, but it was also interesting. These are just, you know, some chronicles I'm keeping notes on of, you know, what's happening as I start my stand-up career. I hate to say career because I don't know if it'll lead to that or not. It's just been a good hobby for now. So that's what I got. Fun story. Hey, if you do me a favor, if you made it this far in the video, leave a comment. Let me know where you're at in the world. I'd like to know who's actually watching this far. And if you could subscribe if you're not, like this video, all that stuff, be great. Thanks, y'all. Have a good one. Be good. We'll catch you later.